morning, GCC kids. I'm so excited to once again bring to you Sunday school through a video. What? Yes, I miss you all and I wish that we could be in person, but since we can't be in person, hi. I'll high five you from here. Air high five. Let's try it. Does it work? Maybe. All right. So last week we learned that we are disciples of God, and that was really exciting that we could learn that and that we could play some games with our families, and that Sunday school was dropped off in this like cool fun package to your doorstep, and it's like, ooh, this is a fun surprise. So this week, same thing. And yes, it's different, and I can't wait until we can meet again in person. But for now, hello from my living room. Yeah, so let's close in prayer and we will talk about our lesson today. All right, not close in prayer, open in prayer. We will close in prayer as well. But yes, let's open in prayer. All right. So, dear God, I just pray your love and your guidance and your blessing upon all of our Sunday school children and their families, God. I just pray your care upon each and every one of them, Lord. I pray that through the situation of COVID that we're going through, Lord, that you could continue to guide and bless and just care for each and every one of them, Lord. And I just pray that with all the different opinions that everyone has, Lord, that we could just all have an understanding of each other, Lord, and that you could just bless us and give us strength through each and everything, and that you could just bless us, that we could encourage and guide each other through this and be in community with each other in new and different ways, Lord. In your name I pray these things. Amen. Okay, so this week we're going through the Prodigal Son. So we were looking at Luke 15, 11 to 32. Yeah, and so pretty much if you want to, you are more than welcome to grab some paper, make some little hearts, and write deeply loved on your hearts if you know how to write that. And then you can grab some other paper and you can make like money if you want to out of the other paper. And you can kind of act along with the story today. Also, if you want to, you can grab a stuffed animal, and your stuffed animal or doll can represent like the older brother figure in the story. I've got this guy here. He's kind of cool. He's going to be my older brother. All right, so let's dig in deep to our story. I am kind of reading notes while I read the story. Okay, so you're going to want to make hearts because this story kind of like represents and talks about how we are deeply loved. And so when we go through this story, yeah, it kind of talks about a lot of things where like the one brother kind of is sinful and like deceitful in a way, but still he is loved throughout everything that he deals with and goes through. So we're going to continue through and read this, but if you want to, in the meantime, if you have your deeply loved heart, you can stick it on you. And that stuck to my hair. Ouch. But yeah, my heart does say deeply loved, but because this is a video, it's showing you it backwards. That happens. I like iced tea. It's good. Okay, so I'm just going to read from 11 to 12 because I think that I was supposed to read a part of here. 1 second. Notes and reading at the same time. Whoa, multitask. All right, so Jesus continued. There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, give me my share of the estate. So he divided the property between them. The boy is asking for his inheritance before his dad even died. It was like saying, I don't care whether you're alive or not, I just want your money. Like, that's ouch. Like, can you imagine asking your parents for a bunch of money right now? Just like, hey, I want all the monies you have. Monies. And like, yeah, that I can't imagine doing that. Like, I have a hard time taking money from anyone. I will give my money away, but to take money from people, like, oh, I don't like doing that. But yeah, so the boy was kind of all about money. So if you have your money, which I just folded my tape on my money, I didn't mean to. But if you have your money, also add it to your t-shirt, because that's what the story says for us to do, is continue to add things to our t-shirts. So if we have it on our t-shirts, if you make more than one, I only made one, you can kind of like do, you know, like that motion where you're just like money and like spreading money everywhere so that it's like we're making it rain money. And then it kind of looks like we're greedy or like hungry for like money, right? Just kind of like the boy in the story, because he asks so soonly for his money from his dad. The boy got all the money and then he ran away from home and he spent it all, right? Okay, so now to go to 13. Not long after that, the younger son got told all he had, the younger son got together all he had and set off for a distant country, and there squandered all his wealth in wild living. What? He was wildly living. So the boy like got all his money and he just ran away and like spent it all. If you so if you can take a piece of paper and write or draw on it something about like wild living. So I'm going to grab another piece of paper and I will just write the words wild living on it. Wild living. And also tape that onto yourself. I am deeply loved with a lot of money and I'm wildly living. Totally. Always wildly living, guys. Look at us now. We are just wildly living and partying, guys. Woo! As my brother just sits over there. All right. But the partying didn't last long. Let's read on. After he had spent everything, there was several famines in that whole country, and he began to be in need. Oh my goodness. So everyone is like hungry, and if you can draw, if you have another piece of paper, just kind of draw like empty plates and dishes, and we're also going to tape that onto us as well. We're just, man, I should have had all the paper over here because we're just like taping everything to us. Okay, so empty plates and dishes. That's like my sink. It's usually full of empty plates and dishes. Wow, this is a really not creative drawing at the moment. Maybe I should like, no, I'm not going to draw my sink. I'll draw some knives and forks. Wow, these are... I'm glad that you can't really fully see what I'm drawing because, like, they're not the greatest of my drawings. I can draw, but I'm just trying to draw really quickly so we can also get through our story. Okay, so I now have some empty plates and some empty silverware empty silverware. I don't know. And I'm taping that to my shirt. So now we are hungry. Yes. Now we are just empty, hungry, poor kids with nothing to show. That sounds really sad, actually. This is sad. Okay. But the boy had no idea. Let's continue to read on. Okay. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of the country who sent him to his fields to feed the pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one would give him anything. Oh, goodness. So our boy is no better than the pigs now. Even their food looks good to him. Could you imagine, like, helping out some pigs and wanting to eat what the pigs are eating? Like, I feel like, well, I wouldn't really want to eat what pigs are eating, but he was so poor at the time that what the pigs were eating looked really good to him. So if you can draw a pig and tape it over your empty dishes. Oh, I think I'm actually supposed to be like taping these over top of things, but I'm just gonna fill myself with cards all over me, apparently. You can tape them however you please, guys. Oh, pigs have like pointy ears. I just about gave it like fuzzy bear ears. Oink, oink. Is that the sound a pig makes, guys? I think so. Okay. So this is my friendly looking pig. He's really happy. Little piggy. Oink, oink. Okay. You want to see my pig before I tape him on me? Still, once again, not the most creative drawing, but it is a pig. Ow. I think I should have put my hair in a ponytail today. Oh no, that's awful. Okay. I have things taped all over me. This is fun, guys. At least I hope you're enjoying this. Alright, so. Oh, hey, this is to remove the papers in my notes now. Alright. So finally the boy decides to return home, and he didn't think his dad would love him anymore, but he knew that the servants at his dad's house had food, and he thought maybe he could go to the servants and work for his dad in exchange for food. Okay, so considering my notes say remove the paper, wait, my notes say remove the paper, but I'm going to continue to read first. Okay, we are now at 20, it's saying. Man, didn't we just skip half the story? Well, my notes are telling me to skip some of the story, so I'm going to listen to my notes, and you guys can read the whole thing with your parents. Alright, so he got up and he went to his father, but while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The son said to him, "Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son." But the father said to his servants, "Quickly, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring him the flattered cow and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate, for this is the son of mine, was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. So they began to celebrate. They're celebrating, although he ran away and spent all his dad's money and wanted to eat pig food because he was so poor. But now they're celebrating. The boy thought that he would still be feeding animals or when he went home. But his dad didn't treat him like a servant. So now we're going to start removing papers. Let's remove our piggies, because that's the paper we're to remove. Yeah, the boy had a new kind of party, not a wild living party, but a party celebrating that he was home. How exciting is that? Let's remove our wild living. That's the right one. Because we're no longer wild living. We are celebrating, but not wildly living. And the boy learned that money isn't the most valuable thing. Love is. So let's remove our money paper, because we're no longer greedy. Unless, I guess, we're greedy for love. But I wouldn't say that that's a terrible greediness. Yeah. So then, what do you think changed throughout this story within our shirts and everything? I believe we don't really need this one on here either. So we've basically removed everything off of our shirts. We've removed our wild living. We've removed being hungry. We've removed our money and the pigs. But we still have this one right here, as I just remove it, but only to show it to you closer as my hair is stuck to it. But yeah, we are deeply loved, right? Yeah. So what didn't change? The story, or the boy in our story, took a lot of new identities from greed, from being greedy, to a wild partier, to poor and hungry, to a pig farmer. But that wasn't always the same. Deep inside, just as our deep love paper, and which is right here, it was always there, stuck onto us and by our side, and inside and outside of us. This boy was just always deeply loved by his dad, who was just waiting for him to come home. And this boy, he's you and me. And yeah, you are deeply loved. And whatever else you think about yourself, whatever else you experience, no matter what people tell you, you are deeply loved by our Father God. He loves you. And yeah, it's so exciting that no matter what, throughout everything we go through in life, no matter how hard things are, we are always deeply loved by our God. And He's our Father that just deeply loves us, and that's exciting. All right, so I'm going to set this down now, and I'm going to pick up my brother. Hello, brother. There's someone else in this story who is deeply loved, the older brother, but the older brother was jealous. He didn't get to party, even though he hadn't run away. The father reminded him that he was deeply loved too. He experienced his father's love the whole time his brother was gone. Whether you're gone far from God or you stay close to him, you're still deeply loved. So although his brother didn't run away in the story, his brother is still deeply loved because his brother was showing love the whole entire time, right? So it's just kind of sometimes we experience different things in life that aren't the same as what our other sibling might experience. But no matter what, we're still deeply loved. Even growing up, like my sister and I both took different paths in life, but no matter what, our parents both maybe like treated different situations differently with us both, but they still have always loved us, and our God has still always loved us as well. Yeah, he is always there for us, and no matter what, loves and forgives us. And yeah, so that's our lesson. You can read like the whole story with your parents. My notes kind of told me just to read certain parts of it, and also had different examples for your story. I am going to kind of give you a sum of your object lesson, I believe. Actually, I'm going to kind of skip the sum of your object lesson today over video. And you can just sort of go through that one, the little words. You can go through that one with your parents, but I will send everything with you guys. High energy game. So you guys will have a high energy game within your lesson pack. You can play it. You don't have to play it. Yeah, it does say that 10 children can play. You can only have 5 people outdoor gatherings. That sucks. But you can still play with your family members. It says that you will need 5-foot lengths of yarn. I will, probably have some yarn in there for you guys. Upbeat music, once again, because games with upbeat music are always fun. But yeah, okay, so you don't have to cut the yarn. Just wrap the length you need, or unwrap the length that you need. This is a game for mixed ages because it'll be better for different ages. Yeah, so you guys should all kind of enjoy this game. If you have music, feel free to play it. So, take part in a limbo line. Here's the truth. Here's the truth. We are deeply loved by God, and He welcomes them. Little words today. I'm really doing well with them. He welcomes us back, even if we've done something wrong. Let's play a game of how low can you go? How low can you go? How low can you go? Sorry, that just like comes in my head, and I'm just like dance a little bit. He reminds us of how the son who ran away got pretty low, and we can all kind of get low sometimes in life, but our God still loves us. So hold one end of the yarn and have the other adult or teen or other friends and family members hold the other hold the other end. And we're going to tell our helpers to follow your lead in raising or lowering the yarn. And then our other friends are going to surpass underneath the yarn. And basically, we're playing limbo. So however low you can go low. And when you're done playing or in the middle of playing, let's ask ourselves, what did you have to do to go low in this game? And what were some low points for the son in the Bible story? And when was a time that you did something wrong or experienced or like did something wrong and then experienced love afterwards? Because yeah, like that happens. Sometimes we feel like we did something wrong, but then sometimes we still get that love and appreciation from something that we feel we've done wrong. Yeah, what is a time that maybe you felt that way? In what ways do you feel deeply loved by God? So you got low in our game. The son in Jesus' story got pretty low. He was homeless and ready to eat pig slop, or to stay alive. But when he went home, he was expecting his father to be furious. He found forgiveness instead. He discovered that he was deeply loved by his father, and he got a hug instead of a lecture. Have you ever gotten a hug instead of a lecture when you felt like you were going to get a lecture? That's always kind of scary when you're like, oh, I'm going to get a lecture. And then they're like, and hug, we love you, because we are loved. So Jesus told his story to help people understand God's love for us. God's love reaches you wherever or whenever you're high or low, whenever you're being obedient or poor, you are deeply loved. And that's super exciting because, yeah, sometimes we're really low, and it's just so nice to know that God's here to pull us through, and he loves us no matter what. I tend to remind myself of that every day. I like to have verses around so that when I am feeling low or down, I'm like, you know what? There's a God who saves and a God who loves, and he deeply loves us, and that's super exciting to me. So those are some questions you can ask yourself throughout the game. And let's kind of take a look at our craft. Oh, this is kind of a really cool craft. Oh, and I actually have like stuff that I will totally send with you guys for your craft. So we will need some aluminum foil. We will need some kind of like a cardboard thing from, toilet paper rolls. And some permanent markers, some stickers, and yeah, all that kind of stuff. So basically, you know how your parents have like dish rags and things like that. So you're gonna have kind of like a dish rag, and then you're kind of just like making like sometimes when you see a fancy table set and the napkins are like wrapped in a pretty little wrappy thing. Basically, that's what we're doing this time. We're making little like cuff wrapper things. I don't know what you call them. Napkin rings. That's what they're called. Should look at my notes when talking about it. So yeah, we're going to make napkin rings, and yeah, when people have a really fancy dinner, sometimes they use napkin rings. That's the way you can roll up a napkin and use a ring to hold it in place. Yeah. The son in our Bible story came back home and his dad threw him a fancy dinner. So that's why we're going to make these napkin rings to remind us that we're deeply loved by our family, and make fancy napkin rings. Maybe you can use them for your dinner tonight. I think that would be kind of fun and exciting. Have a fancy dinner with your family, and you can ask questions like, what are some of the reasons your family might have a fancy or special dinner? What do those dinners kind of look like, and how do they show your family's love? Because we are deeply loved, and when we celebrate, and God celebrates us, and so just as the Father celebrated his Son with a fancy dinner, you can use your napkin rings to make every meal a fancy meal and a reminder of God's love for us, right? So that's what we're gonna make today, is fancy napkin thingies, and yeah, that'll be kind of fun. I'm excited for that. If you guys end up making those, be fun to see some cool photos of those. My computer decided to move away from our stuff. Wow. Okay, so as normal, you also have your take-home sheets within your lessons that just sum up everything that we've talked about today. And yeah, I'm just like really excited for you guys to continue to dig deeper into this lesson with your parents, and I'm going to see if we have some more verses that we can like go through. If you want to read a little bit more to see, like to dig into the Bible with your parents, you can read Hebrews 13:5. You can read Ephesians 1:3-8. And whoop, it disappeared on me again. There we go. Yeah, I believe so. That's kind of all the verses that it speaks of that you could dig a little deeper into. But yeah, our God is so great, and I'm so excited that He just loves us unconditionally. Yeah, I wake up every morning and just look forward to the day that God has planned for me. And yeah, our God, yeah, is lovely, and He deeply loves all of you. I love you all, and I miss you all, and I can't wait till we can see each other in person. But yeah, this is kind of a wrap up of our lesson, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed last week's lesson and enjoyed this week's lesson as well. I can't wait to be with you guys in person again. I miss you all. But for now, hello from my living room. Let's close in a word of prayer, and I will let you guys get deeper into your lessons with your family members and play some fun games, because, like, who doesn't want to limbo? I mean, I might even hang a string and try and limbo in my place. You guys would probably want to see that. You'd think that was funny, I'm sure. But yeah, so let's close in some prayer, and yeah, we'll let you dig into your lessons. Dear God, I just thank you for your love and your encouragement throughout this lesson today, God. I just thank you that you love us so deeply, and that that you're just always there for us, God. And I just pray, God, that if we ever fall into sin or different things, God, that we could just ask you for forgiveness, God, and just turn to you in situations, God, as we know you deeply love us, Lord, and we just want to continue to be guided by you, God, and continue to follow through a life with you, God. And I just pray, God, that you could just fill each and every one of us with the fruits of the Spirit, God. Just love us through life, and bring us to you closer, God. And I just pray that we could continue to gain knowledge of you and just be so excited to learn more about you, God. And I just pray, God, that as you deeply, deeply love us, Lord, that we could just deeply love you back, Lord. And I just pray your blessings upon each and every one of us, Lord, as we learn your word, God. And I thank you for this opportunity that we have. And I just pray your blessings upon each and every one of us as we continue to go and be guided out into the world. In your name I pray these things. Amen. All right, guys. So that's a wrap for today. I'll see you guys again next week. Probably again on video. If not, we'll see you in person. But I'm assuming guidelines will continue. And as much as that continues, we'll see you on video. And I'm going to go hang out with my brother. Have a good evening and day. Love you guys.